regular use of ivermectin led to a 100% reduction in hospitalization rates, a 92% reduction in mortality rate, and an 86% reduction in the risk of dying from COVID-19 infection when compared to non-users, a major new study has now found. The study, published in the medical journal Curious, C-U-R-E-U-S, I'm not sure if that's pronounced curious, but Curious, analyzed data from 223,000 people from the city of Itajá, Brazil, making it the largest study of its kind and giving its findings a high degree of certainty. The senior author is Dr. Flavio Caggiana. Sounds like a nice Italian man. He wrote on Twitter, "An observational study with the size and level of analysis as ours is hardly achieved and infeasible to be conducted as a randomized clinical trial. Conclusions are hard to be refuted. This data is data regardless of your beliefs." The study compared those who took ivermectin regularly, irregularly, and not at all prior to being infected with COVID-19, and found a dose-dependent relationship, confirming that the difference in outcomes is very likely to be due to the drug and no other factors, such as differences between the groups. The authors used a technique called propensity score matching to control for confounding factors that may otherwise have biased the study in one direction or another. For example, those taking ivermectin tended to be older than those not taking it, average age 47 years versus 40 years. But by matching people of similar age in each group and comparing outcomes, this confounding factor was controlled for. And then they go into kind of the abstract, the methods, the results, the conclusion. And the conclusion is that non-use of ivermectin was associated with a 12.5-fold increase in mortality rate and a 7-fold increased risk of dying from COVID-19 compared to the regular use of ivermectin. This dose-response efficacy reinforces the prophylactic effects of ivermectin against COVID-19. So here we are again, 2 years later, what a lot of people have told you and what we've been preaching. And 7 Cells, I think, was just a wonder to find at the time. That this was beneficial. They zeroed in on it right away, made it part of their early treatment pack, and here you go. 2 years later, what we knew was true then is now all of a sudden true.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Fauci's out there yesterday saying that, you got to take, it's probably going to be yearly, you got to get a COVID shot. Still pushing the poison.
Speaking of that little troll, cut 11, G, roll that.
It is becoming increasingly clear that looking forward with the COVID-19 pandemic, in the absence of a dramatically different variant, we likely are moving towards a path with a vaccination cadence similar to that of the annual influenza vaccine, with annual updated COVID-19 shots matched to the currently circulating strains for most of the population.
Yeah, you're kidding me.
However, some particularly vulnerable groups may continue to need more frequent vaccination against COVID-19. Let us review what we know about the safety and efficacy of mRNA COVID-19 vaccines.
I don't need to hear from this little criminal.
Little weasel.
Come on. Stop.
We see what's going on.